Sunday afternoon in the USL Championship. A good game in store at Segra Field in Leesburg, Virginia. It is Loudoun United welcoming the Oakland Roots, two teams with the same record with 5 games in the books. Mike Watts joined by former U.S. national teamer Casey White. Let's get you caught up on the East Conference standings. Loudoun United is in playoff position. Much better place than they've been in years past. And they could move up a slot here today with a victory. Pittsburgh sits on 9 points. Let's not forget games in hand. Loudoun has only played 5. Well, this Loudoun team, Casey, is coming off maybe the best result as an independent club against an independent club. 3-0 against Birmingham.
And that's a convincing result against a good Birmingham Legion team, and different players getting on the board. That first goal coming from Leggett at the back post. Just a great finish off the service from Santos to give them that 1-0 lead.
And then Elmedkar scores 10 minutes later before halftime. Zach Ryan is in a good run of form as well. He scores in the 69th minute. All of a sudden, Loudoun, a 3-0 victory. They've got a couple wins here to start the campaign after bagging just 8 victories a season ago and 5 the 2 seasons before that. Zach Ryan is our player to watch. It's presented by Betfred, and for good reason.
And a player that not only has 4 goals already on this season, but also 2 assists, can create opportunities and chances for other people, but is always a threat going forward.
Ryan has 4 goals this season and would love to find his 5th. Meanwhile, Oakland coming off a loss against Hartford Athletic. This one was a little bit puzzling from the outside looking in.
It was. There was good performance for Oakland Roots, but giving up goals early on in the game, a team that has had to work their way back into it, but Hartford Athletic was a hard team to match up with.
Yeah, the feeling was Prince Sadie and Jadil Cedeno scored in a 5-minute span. Just a couple of mix-ups, miscommunications undid them. They did get a goal in the 73rd minute from Dark Formella, but it's not enough. They fall 2-1 and now head east. And in doing so on the road, Loudoun's look pretty good offensively, so you're expecting a lot from Paul Blanchette.
Blanchette is going to have a big game. 21 saves already on the season, tied for first in the championship. He's going to have to come up big because, like you said, there's a lot of threats for Loudoun going forward. All
right, both these teams have huge Open Cup games midweek. Oakland will take on a fellow California rival in Sacramento. Loudoun will take on Flower City. But they've got some business to handle on this Sunday here in Leesburg. It's Loudoun United set to take on the Oakland Roots. We'll show you lineups and kick this off. Pregame was presented by Segra.
Business today is fast, unpredictable, always changing. Shifting trends and technologies are pushing aside old rules. The unexpected is the new normal. Segra is here to help you get what's next with our best-in-class connectivity, cybersecurity, cloud, and collaboration solutions. Whatever your business dreams, we have the network and services to get you there. Segra, giving your business the freedom to grow today. Segra is a proud sponsor of the Loudoun United Football Club.
There are certain things we've come to expect in Northern Virginia. Traffic jams, tourists, cherry blossoms, and reliable power from Novec. With a 99.99% rating, Novec's reliability is among the best in the region. To keep that high service level, Novec regularly upgrades its electric system equipment with new poles, wire, and cutting-edge technology. Novec, delivering power you can count on.
Segra Field in Leesburg, Virginia, closing in on kickoff between the Oakland Roots and Loudoun United. Oakland dominated the last meeting between the teams. Trumpets blaring as we take a look at the starting lineups for this game. We begin with the home side Loudoun United under Ryan Martin, the most underrated coach in the championship, it's been voted. More on that to come. Ryan Armanakis, Leggett get the job done up front.
And Leggett is another player that's just so dynamic up top, on a scoring streak recently. But you got to look at El Medkar in midfield as well, just really pulling the strings. He can score, but he can also play players forward for opportunities.
One change for them, Rocha is in for Koa Santos. Meanwhile, Noah Delgado, tremendous finish last year. This is a very versatile group, but he's had to make some changes. Congratulations to Eduardo Rito, had a baby this week. Johnny Rodriguez out to injury, Nane to the bench, 3 changes.
And look at that back line, very obvious back three there for Clemente Morad and Barbier, but also looking up top for Mella, already 2 goals and 2 assists on the year, got the penalty in the last game.
All right, Loudoun United will get the opening touch here. Our referee is Christian Campo Hernandez. And waiting for the signal to commence. Loudoun gets the first touch on this Sunday afternoon. Couple of big games in the championship. This one features Loudoun United hosting the Oakland Roots. Rolled back by Samake across from Washington. And there's Hugo Farreau, his 4th start of the season. Perhaps he has taken over the starting role with a more firm grip for Dane Jockeman. Time will tell. Rocha got pinned in. Well, these teams met last year. The 3 goals that put Oakland over the top in that. Rito, who's away with paternity, and then Azakar and Carlson have both left the franchise. It's only Clemente who scored the opening goal of that game that's actually on the field for Oakland here today. Mfeka. Masoso returns to the East Coast after playing for Louisville to begin his pro career. Tamakis. You mentioned that defined back 3 true center backs side by side, and then the width that Oakland gets from those fullbacks can be awe-inspiring.
It really can, and those 3 in the back, very good center backs, and really just allows the wing backs to more dictate play because they're positioned extremely well defensively and already able to start with a bit of possession there for Oakland.
Landry sends it long. That's going to hang up on the turf, but Leggett was offside. Let's take a look at our keys to the game. They're presented by Country Buick GMC of Leesburg. Create those overloads.
For Loudoun United, I think that's going to be really important. Can they create 2v1s and pull the center backs of Oakland out into those wide spaces? That can generate opportunities and gaps for them. But on the flip side for the Oakland Roots, defending in the final third, can they have compactness and make sure there's not a lot of gaps to which Loudoun United can find?
Clemente on the turn. Murad spent some time in Louisville and Tampa Bay before moving west. Forward for Formella. A lot of space to run into. Formella drives the cross, handled by Farreau. Well, it's the winger, but the point stands, doesn't it?
Exactly, there's a lot of space, and which of these teams is going to be able to find that in behind on the diagonals? I think that's going to be really important as we watch this game.
Feka helping up. Landry. Ball sprung through for Samake. Landry spins free through to Armanakis. Looking for Landry. The clearance and Mfeka. Formella. Clemente. So much beauty in the world, those napkins sprinting across the field. Windy day again here at Segra Field. We actually saw the ball fall off the tee pregame.
Well, it's definitely a factor, and right now, for Oakland Roots, just being able to keep possession, keeping it low, keeping it on the ground, something that's going to be important for them, and especially for a team on the road, just being able to allow the team to get possession early is something they've got to be happy with.
Back to Blanchette, and there's Murad. That's well played. Into Formella, flips it back. Diaz ahead. Was seeking Pelais. Medkar. Samake. Landry. Learman. Clip through for Medkar, out of his reach.
And just in these first 5 minutes, you can see that both of these teams really value the ball. There's a little bit of just change of possession back and forth, a little bit of impatience there, but both teams just really trying to set play across the back line and progress through the middle third.
You saw Ryan Martin there briefly, head coach for Loudoun, and finally the expectation and the potential is there to actually win. Medkar tosses in for Loudoun. Samake. That's overzealous from Samake. You know, Casey, the development piece so important for Loudoun when they were still closely aligned with DC United. Now that's changed this year. The expectations were low, but there was a lot of respect for Ryan Martin, and there was a anonymous coaches survey that was done. Backfield put it together. USL Championship website, Nicholas Murray had a great article about what it meant to Ryan Martin to be viewed as the most underrated coach in the league. As it's scooped up here by Farrow, and finally gets a chance to show it.
No, it's a great position for him to be in, has such a great background and a mind for the game, and they're in a great spot in 5th place. And like you said, there's a transition from what they were before to what they're doing now currently, the style of play, but also in the results. You marry those two things, and you're going to have a good season.
Time with John Harkes in Cincinnati. Before that, he was with Jay Vidovich, one of the great minds in college soccer, Wake Forest. Noah Delgado on the opposite side. Was behind Juan Guerra on the bench last year. Guerra makes the change over to Phoenix midseason, and all he did was finish with 22 points in the final 12 games to reach the postseason. Off to a better start this year than perhaps any of their championship campaigns thus far. That despite having a moving target of a home field to this point. Well, pushed into the final third, closed down, but it's Formella cutting back and tapped wide by Pelais.
And so far, it's really been the Roots that have found that wide space. I think that's important for either side, but they've done really well to spring into those wide areas. That one just barely gets through, and this run just going inline right here in the 1v1. Formella with the run inside and just causing havoc in front of goal, but it's a dangerous chance for them.
Good work by Diaz. Comes to nothing in the end. Masoso pirouetting out. Donaciano. There's Diaz arriving again. Into Formella's feet. Flicks it across nearly to Tamakis, who flings a header forward.
Bring it out, Louder. Bring it out. Bring it out.
Rocha sends it away. That long diagonal is going to hop up here. Farrow's going to let it out. Well, you and I have had the chance to talk to Ryan Martin on a number of occasions, and you're always taken by how open he is and how willing he is to talk about the full plot of the game before it unfolds.
Yeah, he's been so great to talk about and just get into the mind of the coach and what he's looking for coming into these games.
Samake flying forward. Sends early for Leggett, never got there. Memo Diaz. Long run for Ryan, didn't get in the mix. That's Formella dropping deep.
And this early in the game, you can see that Loudoun is kind of having to choose between pressing high or kind of staying in more of that middle block. But right now, the Oakland Roots really haven't been bothered, even when they've started to press, because it's maybe one or two players at a time and not the entire team. But you can tell that they're just allowing them to keep possession here in front for the beginning, at least.
Is that Loudoun just trying to shape things, or is that, as this goes over the top, that's going to find Tamakis. Tamakis with a drive, and just sneaks by Pelais, making the late run through. Thoreau makes the save. Harmonakis is going to race up to Blanchette. Seeking Diaz. He's arrived. If you're unfamiliar with Oakland Roots, this is them at their best. Formella bouncing for Pelais. Ricochets down. Clipped over to Tamakis, and it through back to Mfeka. Lindo Mfeka touching, gets the return. Taken out from behind. Bryce Washington covers the ground.
And it's really interesting, just as we're talking about the possession style of play that Oakland Roots is playing with, they are being really strategic on when to play forward quickly, and a lot of good opportunities are coming from when they're looking for that long service. But you can see the combination plays in here. It falls to Mfeka. Look at the combination right there through the middle, and just not able to figure out his feet to get that on frame.
Well, you imagine he saw the play clearly, even with the mask on. That's given away. That's poor. And that's a foul. Oakland wanted advantage, but with Donaciano going down, a free kick in a really enviable spot.
And just pressing here from the front, stepping in. It's a great tackle, and you think if there would have been a little slower whistle there was an advantage, but this will still be a great set piece for the Roots.
And if you're the referee, don't you contemplate giving a yellow card if you're not gonna give the advantage, but you recognize there's something there? I'm a little surprised there's not at least a card.
Completely agree, because usually when it's called that quickly, it's just such a clear and obvious foul that you would think you would see the card come out.
Instead, 5 Oakland players were all cascading toward goal. And Mfeka's certainly got a cultured peg. Doesn't appear this will be his free kick, at least at first glance. Wall is 4 Loudoun players. Ball is well out of play. So Loudoun spared any embarrassment there. Now Medkar got by Clementa, and here's a numbers up moment. Now Medkar out to Leggett. Armenakis. Landry. And Oakland has repelled the Loudoun advantage. Sent through, there's Tamakis. There's a feeling for Loudoun that they become stretched in certain moments when they are not pressing in unison. So you can press to try and shape which way the attack goes.
Right.
You can press to actually win the ball, right?
Mm-hmm. There's definitely different priorities in different parts of the field, how they want to press, when they want to press, and what's the reason for it. And it is just a little disjointed right now. And to be fair, the possession from the Oakland Roots, they just seem calm on the ball. There's always someone moving in a space to get on the half turn and play forward. But this is a team that, even though they lost against Hartford Athletic, had 65+% possession, so it's a team that's really comfortable playing against that pressure.
Yeah, they didn't lose because they were necessarily the worst team. It just got stretched out in the wrong moments, and with the new combination defensively, just didn't play out the way they anticipated. Murad. Barbier.
And that's better from Loudoun right there because they're being calm just to stay in, and then there's impatience on the side of the Oakland Roots. They defend out of a 4-4-2, so it really means the center backs have to dictate play, and that's what you want instead of the midfielders getting on the ball where they're matched up right now 4 against 4.
Come on, Loudoun, bring it out!
Bly's racing in.
Come on, Loudoun!
It's comfortable from Ramirez.
Bring it out!
Oakland rushing in. Leggett. A miscommunication here for Oakland. Leggett on the run. Ryan! What a save, Blanchette! Pushes it high and wide.
And I was kind of surprised that Leggett actually put it over to Ryan. It kind of seemed like the space closed down. He does so well right here to create the 2v1. A little hesitant. Do I go myself? Do I play the ball? In the end, decides to play it. And I don't know how Ryan was able to find that half yard of space, but he does and forces a save.
Great recovery by Diaz to pressure that because Barbier was forced into a decision and it bit to try and take out Leggett. Corner here for Loudoun United. Armanakis is looking for Washington. Mfeka. Learman. Numbers are still forward off the set piece. Armanakis right at Blanchette with a bounce. Oakland already 0.6 of an expected goal through 15 minutes. They have created.
And right now, there's just so much space for in midfield, especially when Oakland gets on the ball. Their movements have been really good, and they're playing in between the lines really well. But we saw the danger of when you have a lot of that possession, the other team can pickpocket you and go the other direction quickly. So what can they do with this, and how dangerous can they be to get behind the back line?
Territorially, Loudoun pushing Oakland back. And as they expand, it's given away by Oakland. Somehow that bounced down to Almedkar. Right back to Almedkar. Murad slides. Make no mistake, Loudoun has forced Oakland into a few mistakes. Oakland have also shot themselves in the foot at least 3 times. Play comes back, free kick here for the Roots. Noah Delgado, previously an assistant coach here in Oakland, taking over last year, but before that with El Salvador, played for the Puerto Rican national team. Was at Fresno State and then went through Syracuse, Rochester, Puerto Rico, and Portland, finishing out in San Francisco. I was taken when I spoke to him earlier this year. He said, you know, the one thing I can definitely say to every player that plays for me, I've been in your shoes.
And that's really nice to have as a player because there's that relatability piece. It's not someone just telling you what to do that hasn't really been through it and done it all. So that's really nice. And that's something that I always enjoyed as a player. And I think most players would love to have that.
Ball threaded through for Mella. Offside. Donaciano had a really clever through ball there.
It's that blindside run there from Formella coming from the opposite side flank, but just that vision from Donaciano in midfield is something that just creates almost a great opportunity.
Oakland is maybe the greatest rope-a-dope team that I've seen. Not in the sense that you might be thinking, but rather everything's coming at you from one side, and they slap that diagonal through or a through ball with a backside run, and you have no idea where it came from.
And that's so clever because you're coming off the blindside shoulder. So unless there's a quick communication or you have your outside back coming straight across and they're alert to that danger, it can be so difficult to defend as a back line.
And let's not forget Oakland, for the best reasons, without Eduardo Rito in this game. Good step by Landry. Leggett! A palm for Blanchette and cleared out of the 6.
My goodness, what a save that was. That is a good shot on frame from Leggett, but that it's saved might be even better.
The league leader in saves coming into the day, and I don't think that's going to change. Blanchette's 23rd save of the year.
Well, there's such an interesting tempo to the game because Oakland Roots have had the majority of possession. Loudoun's found a little bit, but there's been a lot of moments where there's been a possibility of a goal, even though at times there's been this chess match piece and feel to it.
Back by Ryan, who popped off the back line. To go back, Rito out. And maybe the best attacking wingback in the league. No one makes more swashbuckling runs than he does. Loudoun, meanwhile, have gone right down Main Street here on a number of occasions. Ryan and Armanakis not on the same page. Loudoun on a better vein of form right here off this turnover.
Well, and just pressing super high was Landry. It falls right to Leggett, and just extending was Blanchette. It's a great save, and what's so good about this save, too, is it's to the wide area and able to get up immediately. The defender's right there to make sure there's not a second chance.
When you make a save that good, I have to think a goalkeeper isn't even remotely contemplating. Surely there's some element of thinking, get this wide. But, I mean, your fingers touched the ball. You did your job.
Well, job number one, keep it out. But when you get as many reps as they do training, you learn that, okay, I've got to push this wide if I can. Ultimately, let's just keep it out of the net, though. I agree with you on that.
Diaz seeking Formella. Right off of Diaz, and that is a little bit of luck here for Loudoun. Select is the official match ball supplier of the USL Championship. Many of the elite leagues throughout Europe. Visit select-sport.com for the latest Select product specials and more. It is Select, the player's choice. It's a new website. Clementa bashes it back as we reach the midway point, the opening half.
And there seems to be a little bit more tenacity in the pressing from Loudoun. Really early on, it was a little bit in that mid-block, just a little more casual, not stepping forward a lot. But when there's opportunities for a bad touch or a pass backwards, there's more of that going forward and trying to put them under pressure.
Long diagonal for Formella with too much strength. Play on. Samake threading ahead. Elmedkar drives that central service and whipped for frame, curling away. That's Ramirez, his second start of the year.
Well, what started this whole thing was Elmedkar running through the middle 30. He gets there in the penalty area, stepping out. is here with Ramirez on the ball, just curling away from there. But it's better build-up from Loudoun United going through the midfield.
Loudoun's #1 fan. Loud and proud as ever. Loud and united. It's not my phrase. That's good marketing.
I can go back to him whenever you want.
Penny for Anwar Pillai's thoughts there.
I don't know if he really liked that challenge.
A little hobble, he's picking up speed again. Both sides sit 5th in their respective conferences, 5 games into their seasons. 2 wins, 2 losses, and a draw. It's the Oakland team that nearly suffered the fate, death by 1,000 draws last year. Picked up steam at the tail end of the campaign. Lobbed over the top, El Medcar, ball sat for him. He tries to flick it toward goal. And Blanchette able to catch. Either side has the chance at a little upward mobility here today with a win. Ryan. Armanakis dummies. Display back by Ramirez.
I think this is good by Loudoun because they haven't really enjoyed a lot of the possession. So just keeping it here, recycling it back across, things like that, just gets everyone a few more touches on the ball, just allows them to dictate play a little bit more as they go through the half.
Washington. Landry sends across. This is Aiden Rocha. Rocha off the back heel of Armanakis. And Pillai's left up for it. Recovered here by Loudoun. Samakis shown a yellow for this, as Samake perhaps could have gotten in behind down that line.
Well, it's definitely the space that they're trying to figure out is between the center backs and the wing back. Tamakis does come back and almost recover, but a little bit too much contact right here. And it really was a 50-50 ball that both of them were going after, but Samake is able to get that little extra touch just a second before.
Tamakis played for the great team in El Salvador, Alianza. Before that, Santa Tecla and Deportivo Fas. Their 62 caps for El Salvador, including a handful against the U.S. He started at right back against the United States in their most recent Nations League game. You can expect Tamakis to play a role with El Salvador at the Gold Cup. Panos Armanakis, Leggett able to skew it toward goal with his head. He's latching onto his head. There were a couple of high boots getting in the mix. Leggett remains down. A yellow card shown. Well, you'd have to think, of course, that comes with a penalty then.
100%, and the service wasn't great from the beginning, but look at the bravery just right here. It's a high boot going there, but Leggett just shows a lot of bravery coming through.
Well, that's Murad. Didn't see the referee point, but he did. And Loudoun headed to the spot, trying to grab the lead here against Oakland. Well, there are a couple of high legs. It's Formella that's shown the yellow. And it's Zach Ryan who steps to the spot. He has scored 4 goals, bagged 2 assists this season. It was with Red Bull that he scored last year against DC United. Gave an idea to fans here in Loudoun County and beyond just what he brings to the table. A lot of talking still. Yellow card maybe.
There's no caution on number 9. No caution on number 9.
All right, so it appears they just waved off the yellow, or they gave it to somebody else. Someone's going to explain this to us eventually. We're a little busy here with this ensuing penalty. Blanchette coming. Ryan to put Loudoun ahead against Blanchette. Ryan's first penalty is perfect. Loudoun grabs the lead, and Ryan has his 5th goal of the season.
What was so impressive about that was there was so much noise going on, a lot of resetting, a lot of having to refocus here, and refocus he does. He hits that so well to the left post, right there, right in the side netting. Zach Ryan with a great finish to take the lead.
How do you stop that man? His 4th game, his 5th goal of the season comes in the 30th minute.
And when that's happening with one of your goal scorers and you get a penalty called, there's a reason he's scoring. Put him there, keep that going. You don't want him to cool off at all, and he doesn't. And that is not an easy penalty kick to make.
Well, so there was confusion there about who the yellow card was to, and it was that high boot that you saw that appeared to, if anything, graze the face, but more likely than not, it looked like simply put Leggett out of sorts. It is Tarek Morad shown the yellow, so Formella has his rescinded. This will fly by Formella. Diaz chasing, he's out of room.
The correct recipient is number 6, Tariq Boaz.
Well, really well done there. The correct recipient, that's great verbiage by our public address announcer, and Murad shown yellow. How about this, you know? 5 goals now this year. He had 1 with Red Bull and 12 starts in 2022. There was a feeling with a chance to really get games in that this is a guy who could run really hot. Well, he's hot right now.
And that's something that you see from someone like him that just is a pure finisher, knows kind of where to put himself. Obviously, this one off of a set piece with a penalty, but someone who is, when he's in those moments, he can deliver. And that's what you need, is just a player that can be a part of the attack, obviously be a part of the structure and the way you attack, but also is there to finish.
He scored in the Open Cup, too, against North Carolina. Let's see how Oakland responds here. And Feka, standing tackle by Learman. Armenakis touched off the ball. Venaciano wasn't quite able to take it away. That's a little more clear cut away from El Medcar. Loudoun have failed to win their last 4 games, conceding the opening goal dating back to October against Birmingham. And that is now 6 first-half goals conceded by Oakland. Only Hartford have conceded more this year, 7.
And it really was against the run of play. Oakland Roots started the game extremely well, and Loudoun just takes advantage of a set-piece opportunity, and a player like Leggett just being extremely brave, putting himself in a position to potentially draw the foul. So it'll be interesting to see how these next few minutes go. Can Oakland Roots get back to that possession and creating opportunities themselves, or is this going to spur Loudoun United on?
By the way, Loudoun has now scored 6 first-half goals. Only Sacramento and Monterey Bay have done more, and they've had more games to do it. It's kind of a juxtaposition to how the last game went for Loudoun, because against Birmingham, they expected to soak some pressure in, try and press when they could. They ended up dominating the ball the first half hour. Here, Oakland shows these really bright moments, but it's Loudoun that get the goal.
And sometimes that's how it is. It's very strange. I mean, that's what's kind of beautiful about the game is there's not one way to win a game, right? I mean, you can have so much possession of the ball, and usually those kind of performances become results, but you never know.
Feka, that drops back to Clementa. To Marcus. Casey with the first. Well, that's the beautiful part of the game.
Hey, I love it. You know my playing and coaching's coming out. I love those little nuances of the game for sure.
Which side of the flag does that end up on? You can see the wind dragging both flags there in the corner away.
The wind wanted a quarter kick there.
It did. If you're Noah Delgado, do you feel like you've got any reason to change what you've done so far?
I don't think so. I don't think so. It's when we are possessing this much, how do we not give up some silly fouls in the final third? How do we prepare for if we do lose possession? Those things were probably things he's talked about way before the game with his group, and I think that continues because they've done really well in the first half despite the scoreline.
Let's see if Oakland can create something off this set piece. That was a Loudoun United Achilles heel last year. Swinging in with the help of the wind. That would have been a corner. Now it's definitely going to be a corner. Is that a beer or a thermos in that last row? Because either would make sense.
Those are the hard-hitting questions, right?
Yeah, it is. Yep. Another service. Well, there was a chance at an open header flying toward goal. Instead, bounces out for Barbier. And that's allowed out by Farrow. To remind you, don't miss a minute of the action in 2023, whether your club is on the road or at home. Catch nearly every second of USL Championship action on ESPN+. It's your home for the USL Championship, USL League One, La Liga, Bundesliga, UFC, and more. Sign up today, plus.espn.com. Landry got tripped up, and Mfeka. It's amazing when both players look at the referee waiting for a gesture one direction or the other.
Yeah, that happens a lot more than you think it should probably, but that one was a little bit strange. I can kind of understand why they both looked because, to be honest, it kind of could have been a play on. They were both there, and it was a light tackle, in my opinion at least, but I don't know. As a player, I'm always wanting the foul, so until he tells me it's not mine, I'm going.
I can't hear you.
Off the head of Leggett, Ryan. The second header, Armenakis. And touched away. There's one other game in the championship today. Miami and Las Vegas. Vegas off to a pretty good start, but it's Miami that offensively just struggling to put anything together at this point. They've bagged 2 goals in the first 10 minutes. Christian Sorto and Paco Craig.
And it is early enough in the season that things can change around, but if it doesn't happen quickly, then it starts to show, hey, we're not even creating chances. Now they're starting to do that.
Good news for Miami. They needed that desperately. Tamakis couldn't sneak it in for Mfeka. Palai's chasing. Giannis Learman. Armenakis using head, shoulders, knees, and toes on that. But he gave it away. Proof that ball, in fact, does not lie. Well, you can understand Mfeka here. He's getting the yellow for dissent, but that pretty clearly hit the arm of Armenakis, didn't it? No pun intended.
It did. It did. And you can just tell by the way that the ball goes, the way it hits and the angle it goes down. It looks like a pretty obvious handball. They did end up getting possession here in the final third, but still, nonetheless.
Mfeka.
So Mfeka put in the book here as the third player on a yellow card for Oakland, who probably feel like they can't catch a break right now.
Bring it up, Loudoun. Bring it up. Bring it up.
Sprung ahead for Elmedkar. Ryan his sidecar. Elmedkar angling inward. Masoso spins away with the ball in tow. Samake, stride for stride with Tamakis, and then some.
Nice. Keep it going. Come on. Bring it up, Loudoun. Bring it up.
Noam Manakis.
And you can tell that both teams are really trying to push. There's so many spaces that are coming open in the middle of the field. That compactness defensively is kind of going away for both groups. So far, both teams recovering well, but you'd think that's going to break at some point.
Rocha. Picked up by Barbier. 40 minutes gone. At halftime, we'll tell you why Oakland is the biggest story in the league this year. Mfeka lashes that wide of frame. Certainly the biggest story of the week. Make that, and this is Mfeka creating off the turnover.
Everybody clap your hands.
Look back at the Armanakis potential handball. Ryan? Was that a Zoidberg Futurama impression that I just heard?
Might have been.
That's
It might have been. I
excellent.
think you're right.
I love this. I love this joint sometimes. I really do. Tamakis.
If I'm Loudoun right now, there's really no need to press, so it's really good that they're kind of sitting in this mid-block, but that's a great ball to break the line for Oakland.
And Masoso charging forward. Tamakis for Masoso. Hits the end line and accepts a set piece for all that work.
And when you play in that mid-block defensively, especially because they have that flat line of four, that one ball breaks the entire midfield line. It's a great ball from Oakland to get forward and then earn this corner kick.
By the way, Miami has just scored their third. Remember when they couldn't score goals?
No, when was that?
Yeah, Repetto from the penalty spot. That game is concurrent on ESPN+. There's a little pushing and shoving there at that near post. The referee appears prepared to stamp out before any problems.
Come on, Loudoun!
Service flick on. Palais punched away. Strong fist. Clementa. And the whistle blows, favoring the goalkeeper, Hugo Farreau.
But why not take a chance there with that ball going up, especially because Farreau was kind of stuck on his line a little bit and kind of hesitant to come out right at first. You got to take a chance. This service into that area flicked on. It's just kind of awkward right here as Farreau comes through. No attempt to play the ball by Palais, and that's why that's called. If he would have jumped there, most likely wouldn't have been a foul.
Lest we forget, Oakland going on the road, thousands of miles. They've got Sacramento coming up midweek. Huge Open Cup clash against a team that, of course, reached the final in that competition last year. Down 2 starters, Rodriguez and Rito. Rodriguez to injury, Rito after the birth of his child. There's that diagonal to Tamakis. Oakland's done a lot right. Played into the feet of Masoso, back to Mfeka. Formella, able to swing it wide, Diaz. Sliding denial, still it's Mfeka. Forward from Barbier, gets the return. Barbier for Mfeka. And didn't find Clementa. Flocking Loudoun forward. Ryan, early beyond Leggett.
And that's a good idea there on the break, just trying to play it behind the back line. But what's been impressive is just the way that Oakland's playing in that final third. A lot of good combination play, just not able to get that finish.
3 minutes.
3 added minutes here at the end of the first half.
Power you can count on.
Stoppage time brought to you by Novak. Power you can count on. Rocha found the pocket there. Through for El Medcar. El Medcar lashing over the penalty spot. Wrong-sided Ryan with a flick on. Rolled centrally. Armenakis, Samake.
And Loudoun is finding those wide spaces, especially through El Medcar, but to be fair to Oakland Roots, they're recovering very well, the 3 center backs sliding across, especially Clementa, just making sure it doesn't turn into anything behind the back line. So can someone join in that space to help El Medcar get in there?
Well, there's Samake. There's El Medcar. Landry. Through for Ryan. Plays that back over to Rocha. Loudoun has basically watched 2 minutes of sand go through the hourglass in the attacking half here.
And it's good, they don't need to push. They were able to get that set piece and then the penalty after to take the lead. So they're able to just take their time here, try and get into halftime. Obviously, Oakland Roots would rather be pushing forward to try to create something, but this works to Loudoun's favor.
Well, unless Oakland's able to force a turnover here, Ferreau past Donaciano.
Come on, Loudoun!
Clementa's back up, and that may take us to the intermission. And that's halftime. Statistically, almost identical expected goals. Both teams had their moments, both teams pressured efficiently, but it's Loudoun that grabbed the goal at the half-hour mark from Zach Ryan at the spot, and they lead at the break.
And Loudoun United did a really good job of just weathering the storm of that possession from the Oakland Roots and some opportunities early on. And as the half progressed, they really played more into the game.
Well, Zach Ryan is in some vein of form right now. That was his 6th goal all competitions this season in just 5 games. And the Loudoun captain has put the team ahead. We've got plenty coming up at halftime, including why Malibu never sounds so good to an Oakland fan. Loudoun ahead at the break. We'll show you first half highlights, news and notes from around the league, and more after these messages.
Business today is fast, unpredictable, always changing. Shifting trends and technologies are pushing aside old rules. The unexpected is the new normal. Segra is here to help you get what's next with our best-in-class connectivity, cybersecurity, cloud, and collaboration solutions. Whatever your business dreams, we have the network and services to get you there. Segra, giving your business the freedom to grow today. Segra is a proud sponsor of the Loudoun United Football Club.
There are certain things we've come to expect in Northern Virginia. Traffic jams, tourists, cherry blossoms, and reliable power from Novec. With a 99.99% rating, Novec's reliability is among the best in the region. To keep that high service level, Novec regularly upgrades its electric system equipment with new poles, wire, and cutting-edge technology. Novec, delivering power you can count on.
Welcome back. Loudoun United leads Oakland Roots 1-0 at halftime. Let's take a look at our player spotlight. Today it's winger Khalil El-Medkar, 23-year-old, joined Loudoun United ahead of this USL season. Prior to his pro career, played collegiately at the University of Kentucky, 66 games for the Wildcats, 20 goals, 21 assists, a homegrown deal with FC Dallas in 2021. Influential asset to the red and white this year. Started every match, recorded a goal, 2 dimes, named to the USL Team of the Week twice already, including the 3-0 win against Birmingham, in which he scored his debut goal and tallied an assist. When will you be able to see El-Medkar next? To look at the upcoming games on the Loudoun schedule. It'll be on the road at Phoenix. You can see it on ESPN Plus, 10:30 Eastern Time. That's next weekend. Of course, you could watch them take on the Rochester-based Flower City Union midweek. Indy 11 at home on May the 6th. You'll get a chance to see New Mexico come here to Loudoun County as well. Team will go on the road to El Paso and Hartford as well. Not to leave the Oakland fans out, a look at their upcoming schedule. Yes, they have Sacramento midweek, all eyes on that. A lot of excitement. They'll go on the road for the Open Cup on Wednesday night. But then they'll host the aforementioned Miami team that bagged 3 first-half goals today against Vegas. Maybe they got them at the wrong time. Then they'll go to Birmingham and host Orange County, go away to Sacramento, and host San Diego. The last 3 games of the month against California rivals. They'll all be 7 o'clock Pacific time starts. Whoa there. That's at least 5 headers. That ball was not meant to do that. Meanwhile, this is some kind of halftime show that we can look forward to. We're going to watch so you don't have to. More coming up after the break here in Leesburg.
We all have goals. But let's be honest. Most of us aren't going to be professional athletes. But if your goal is to finish your degree, we can help. Come to a university that puts your goals first. Bellevue University, your partner in finishing goals.
Business today is fast, unpredictable, always changing. Shifting trends and technologies are pushing aside old rules. The unexpected is the new normal. Segra is here to help you get what's next with our best-in-class connectivity, cybersecurity, cloud, and collaboration solutions. Whatever your business dreams, we have the network and services to get you there. Segra, giving your business the freedom to grow today. Segra is a proud sponsor of the Loudoun United Football Club.
Welcome back to Leesburg. Loudoun ahead of Oakland 1-0 at the break. Loudoun undefeated their last 6 games when they lead at halftime. Mike and the former national teamer Casey, here we go. Look at news and notes from around the USL Championship and beyond. Really disappointing week for pro sports fans in Oakland with the news that the Athletics have signed a deal to move to Las Vegas. There is good news for the Roots, however. In a season where their home ground has been in question, they have submitted a proposal for a 10-year lease for the Malibu lot, which is right next to the Oakland Coliseum complex. It's right next to where Oracle Arena currently sits. And for Oakland, hopefully that's a long-term solution for the fans there to get behind and for this organization, something they really deserve.
And that's just something that's so nice to have for the whole organization, but for the players as well, just a place to call home and make your own.
Yeah, well, the Roots will look forward to seeing that come together here in coming months and maybe be ready in a couple of years' time. Meanwhile, Charleston, Sacramento atop their conferences. That doesn't mean the results went their way yesterday. That's Charleston and Louisville finishing 0-0. They finished down a man in extra time. But Louisville able to go away and pick up a result. Phoenix up a man for 30 minutes, end up drawing with San Antonio. Monterey, Indy's in some trouble perhaps. Sacramento with a win, Memphis with a win. Some really valuable results last night.
Yeah, and a big win for Colorado Springs Switchbacks too, with 2 goals in 4 minutes. So a big win for them as they went into second place in the West. All
right, Switchbacks are rising. Meanwhile, look at the schedule around the championship. This is for next weekend. Don't forget, a lot of your favorite teams playing in the Open Cup this week, including both these teams on Wednesday night. There's some really good matchups here.
And it's a hard thing because you do have that midweek game, but there's some big ones going on. You've got San Antonio FC with Las Vegas Lights there on Saturday, and also that matchup with Memphis 901 FC versus Louisville City as well.
Yep, and let's not forget Charleston in first, Colorado Springs in second in the West, so another 1-2 game. All those games, like this one, on ESPN+. When we come back, we'll show you the first half highlights. This was a really fluid, open game, an enjoyable one to watch. 45 minutes down, 45 to go. Loudoun ahead at the intermission in Virginia.
Business today is fast, unpredictable, always changing. Shifting trends and technologies are pushing aside old rules. The unexpected is the new normal. Segra is here to help you get what's next with our best-in-class connectivity, cybersecurity, cloud, and collaboration solutions. Whatever your business dreams, we have the network and services to get you there. Segra, giving your business the freedom to grow today. Segra is a proud sponsor of the Loudoun United Football Club.
Fun afternoon here in Leesburg, Virginia. It's Loudoun United leading Oakland 1-0 at the break, and both teams have some goals in their boots here in the second half. Perhaps let's get you caught up on what's happened if you missed our opening half. First half highlights of which there are several. Both teams finish with just over one expected goal between the sides. Oakland had some really bright moments, and those long diagonal balls were there.
They did, and Tamakis takes that one down. It's a great save by Farrow, and then cleared out eventually from Loudoun United. But a lot of possession for the Oakland Roots, but then they would look to strategically find that space behind the back line, and this was the first opportunity they had by using that tactic. And then in the 15th minute, Wesley Leggett going the opposite way, creates a 2v1, doesn't play it early, eventually finds Ryan, who gets a little bit of space for this opportunity, but Blanchette's up to the task.
Yeah, a half yard of space, but certainly a full chance. Blanchette made a number of really solid saves. This was the first in the first half. And Ryan, who scored 4 in 3 games coming in, held off the board for the moment. Skip ahead to the 20th minute. Look familiar, another turnover here for Oakland in their own third.
And that's really how they would get the opportunities early on, was this expansive shape from Oakland Roots. Some good defending in midfield there by Landry. Leggett forcing a save from Blanchette. And luckily for Oakland, Clementa's there to clear it out.
So Blanchette able to get a fingertip to it, does well to push it away. Skip ahead to the 30th minute. This would be a penalty drawn by Leggett. Murad shown yellow for it, and Ryan to the spot.
And this is such a great finish. There's power, there's accuracy on this. Picks his spot, puts it right where it needs to be, and gives them the lead 1-0.
Better bet Ryan's good for that. Loudoun ahead at the break. And it's Bet Fred that presents the halftime stats. You know, both teams were willing to hang on to the ball. Both teams were willing to press. It was a really expansive, open, enjoyable 45 minutes.
It was fluid, it was back and forth, and you can see 8 shots to 5, but the big glaring piece right there was only 1 on target for the Oakland Roots, where 3 out of 5 on the opposite side for Loudoun United.
Yeah, it was that Tamakis shot that you saw parried away by Farrow, and Pelaez was close, but just a little too far out in front of the ensuing rebound. Oakland coming off this long road trip, won the meeting last year 4-1. Can they find a goal here in the second half and provide a little bit of chaos down the stretch? Christian Campo Hernandez has not been Oakland's favorite feature in this game. Three yellow cards in the first half, all belong to Oakland players, and of course the penalty that put Loudoun ahead. It is 59 degrees, not all that humid. This is the kind of weather where you've got energy from opening whistle to final whistle. We'll see which side's able to expend and find the 3 points here. Loudoun ahead, and Oakland gets the first touch of the second half.
And you talked a little bit about that frustration, a lot of that coming from a few perhaps missed calls, but also going down 1 goal with the performance they were having with possession and creating opportunities early on definitely made them a little more frustrated as the half progressed.
Pelaez driven away. Murad. Subless at halftime. That's Barbier.
He's not back yet. No, he must be in the bathroom or the concessions.
Run Loudoun!
And no real change from Loudoun United, just in the way they're defending. They're in that 4-4-2, that middle block. And I think if Oakland can find the space right in front of Loudoun's back line, that's where they've been most successful in pulling players out and finding space behind them after the initial pass.
Well, somehow that was offside from Tamakis.
Go Loudoun!
Able to put a high wire act that back line. Well, this is an aggressive dribble. Armanakis. Rocha. Ryan. Landry. Samake falls to Armanakis here. Ramirez. Learman. Landry being chased by Mfeka. Sort of the game of cat and mouse. Loudoun may be willing to give up that territory to open space between the lines.
Well, and just having that goal lead, it just kind of can change the way that you approach things a little bit, just trying to take your time in possession and not forcing things forward. Obviously, Landry playing a little bit slow there with speed of play and allowed Oakland Roots to step up, but they can afford to do that a little bit, especially early on.
Sun's starting to shine a little bit here. Well, they know.
Listen, if you want, I can keep the camera on him the rest of the game.
Go ahead for me. Go ahead.
Barbier. And now Morad. This is good. Diaz. Spinning Formella. Donaciano swinging over to Tamakis. The return from Mfeka.
Push it up.
And that's Samake.
And there's just a breakdown in the final third there, but like you said, it's better from the Oakland Roots. They're really having to have one of the center backs dribble into that space. Once they do, they're able to find the wide area. If that doesn't happen, then it's much easier for Loudoun United to defend. So they're going to make Barbier, Murad, and Clementa really be the players that dictate play.
Look at all that traffic, to your point, with that back three staying intact.
And right here, he's able to break a line in there to Diaz, which is good. It's just how quickly can they do that with speed of play, so it draws out those outside mids in the 4-4-2.
Quickly through, scooped by Farreau. Away from Ryan, he goes spewing to the ground. Donaciano for Mfeka, taken back by Washington. Donaciano. Donaciano got pumped off the ball. Ramirez leads, seeking Ryan.
And it's starting a lot like it did in the first half. Same thing here in the second half, with Oakland Roots having a bit more possession and Loudoun just looking to defend, be really compact defensively and look for that counter-attacking option. Obviously not clean there going forward, but that defensive compactness makes it a lot harder for the Oakland Roots to penetrate.
Barbier, there's Diaz. Finally a little room to roam here. Formella. Diaz inverted. Donaciano. Masoso. Back from Tamakis. Clementa. Masoso. Tamakis. Leapt back on side, sliding. Well, those are the moments for Oakland right now. So close to creating something of substance.
Well, it's so difficult, too, when they get into that attacking final third. There was all 11 players for Loudoun behind the ball. Zach Ryan was all the way back about 28 yards out from goal, so that can be difficult. So the speed of play becomes really important. How quickly do you move the ball to shift the defenders, and maybe even some services in the box just to throw things off a little bit and make the back line feel a little bit more under pressure.
Speared down to Barbier. He'll take that space. He's got two players in his wake. Formella. Armanaka stepped in. Formella undeterred. Barbier. Formella. Donaciano. Tried to curl it. It did not curl. Paco Craig scored today. Why do I bring that up? It could be because, you know, Oakland's next home game is against Miami, but you're wrong. Miami FC goes to Kentucky. Former Louisville City player Paco Craig will lead Miami against Josh Winder and the reigning Eastern Conference winner, Louisville City FC. Start of a new season of the USL on ESPN, May the 13th, 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 Pacific on ESPN2. Tommy Williamson is preparing to enter. Wesley Leggett came up a bit lame there. He has earned time in this Loudoun team through his performances in training. And then, you know, it's interesting. He played at one of the great college programs in D1, St. John's under Dave Mazer. But the point that was being really drilled into him the past couple of weeks by Ryan Martin was you have to be closer to the goal if you're going to score, and Leggett's done that with a lot of acclaim for the goals he has scored.
And that's something that's really hard because especially for a player like him that likes to find spaces to run at players, a lot of times that happens in the wide areas. But when you have a player with his athleticism, his pace, and his ability to score, you want them around the goal as much as possible, and he's starting to make those strides for Loudoun.
And they're really excited about what Williamson can do too. So suddenly you've got some genuine competition up front here for Loudoun. That's Williamson trying to pressure Blanchette. In doing so, off the head of Rocha. Diaz. That's tidy work. That's the first change for either side. The sub was presented by Segra. Barbier trying to make the game. Diaz, appeal for a handball from Pelais. That goes unheard.
And again, Loudoun's just allowing Barbier really to play across the back, and Murad, like the players there, they're not going to hurt Loudoun if they're keeping it in that space, but can they dribble and draw one of those midfielders out? It might just be a yard of space that's created, but just a little bit can open up gaps for them going forward.
2 goals in the first 9 minutes from Miami. They've now scored less than 4 minutes out of halftime. Joaquin Rivas. It is now Miami 4, Las Vegas 0 in the other game in the championship today. Hangs in the air. The wind would drag that back toward the field. Didn't matter. Las Vegas hasn't even attempted a shot for the last half hour of that game. They are getting absolutely housed at Ricardo Silva Stadium today.
Well, if you're Miami, you're excited about those goals. So do you say, okay, let's keep going, or hey, let's not use them all in this game, right? But they're in good form being able to get that. That's going to be huge for them going forward.
You think they want to use them in the Open Cup against Inter Miami?
I think they might.
There's a tremendous amount of excitement around that game. As this sent in from the touchline, seeking Peliz, comes down to Masoso. Look for that cutting run. You know, one of the interesting little subplots, and this is maybe TV lingo, but because Inter Miami this year has been on Apple along with the rest of the MLS broadcasts, Miami FC was more than happy to take their slot on the CBS affiliate there. So the game's going to air on local TV down in Miami, but it's going to be the Miami FC broadcast that they're going to be watching, which is excellent. Those two are just 10 miles apart, their venues, Drive Pink Stadium and Ricardo Silva Stadium. That is the least amount of margin between any two teams, right there with Chicago House and Chicago Fire. This flown forward here for Loudoun. Trio of options now circulating. That shot deflects from El Medcar, picked back up by Armanakis. Oh! Panos Armanakis, a banger for Loudoun. 2 goals ahead.
And everything about that goal, the build-up, the finish, everything was just so great. El Medcar makes that run, just going into that wide space. They haven't found it a whole lot. This is really the first time in this half. The ball is actually from Armanakis, the goal scorer, to spring El Medcar in this wide area. Just taking his time, coming back in, waiting for runners to join. Tries to go in the 1v1, take his own opportunity. And all of a sudden, Armanakis is right there and picks it out, bends it beautifully to the back post.
They say you never forget your first. That is his first goal for Loudoun United.
And it's a good one, definitely, that he's going to remember. This is a great finish for him.
My, oh my. Player that featured in some major clubs in England and in Italy as a youth. Has a passport that's been stamped in, I don't know, probably about 50 countries. And Armanakis, the 24-year-old native Californian, has put Loudoun 2 goals ahead.
What was so great about that is Armanakis picked that ball up about 30 yards from his own goal to be able to play that ball outside the center back area, making sure El Medcar would have a lot of space to run onto, and then runs about 60 yards up the field for that finish.
Yeah, Ryan Martin described when he signed him, he's a gifted playmaker, but can he put it all together? That was literally everything that Armanakis is supposed to be good at tucked into one play.
It was.
You know, if you're into the idea of a young player of great acclaim in world football, one of the many sort of services, you know, you've got the Golden Boy and all this stuff, but the Guardian 50 is sort of considered one of those premier places to have your name as a footballer under the age of 20 or 23. Armanakis was on that list 8 years ago. He was supposed to be one of the next guys up. And here he is playing in Loudoun and maybe finding himself and finding a way to put it all together.
And there's different steps along the way in your career that really serve a purpose. And I mean, all game, he's been a really big bright spot in being on the ball in that middle third area. He's very comfortable there. But then now actually being able to put the finishing touch on it, that's the hardest piece to add to someone who is really a playmaker in midfield.
Williamson got shown the yellow card. By the way, a little credit where it's deserved here. El Medcar has 3 runners coming. He attempts a shot, it gets blocked. How many times do you see the body language of a team tank in that moment and go, well, that was our chance with the ball? And instead, all 3 still have their head on a swivel, falls to Armanakis, and he creates that little bit of magic. You know, I think about them putting in Abdul Kawanda last game, and Ryan Martin just saying the leadership of the team came to me and said, he deserves a chance to play. How many guys are willing to say, I'm willing to give up some of my minutes because it's for the best of the team? I mean, this Loudoun group has something sprinkled on it, a little fairy dust right now.
And you honestly don't hear about that very often, and that was something that he said he was really proud of with his group, and something that he thought was one of their best qualities was that experience and leadership.
When's the last time in your pro career that you went to a coach and said, you know, I think someone else really deserves a chance?
You know what? It doesn't happen a whole lot, and I probably would have hoped I was in the lineup as well when that person came in, if I'm being honest.
Little nutmeg there. This is impressive from Oakland, but it's short-lived.
Bring it up,
From
Loudoun!
Donaciano. Donaciano getting around it again. That time met by Samake. El Medkar. He's had a really strong start to the season. A little bit of that wow factor in him. Plowing through Armenakis with confidence.
Come on, Loudoun!
Yeah, Armenakis is in his bag. Masoso commits the foul.
And you saw little glimpses of that from Armenakis early in the game, some little flair there in midfield, but it's definitely on another level right now, just penetrating off the dribble, a little bit of creativity in that space. It's like he's pulling the strings even a little bit more after that goal.
Set piece coming here for Loudoun United. Oakland has already attempted more passes in this game than they average for the season. 425 is a normal game for Oakland. They're closing in on 450. Loudoun's let them have the ball at moments. Ball driven forward with Washington pursuing. Blanchette with ease.
And you talk about the passing, that really has been the game plan, I think, from Loudoun United is we're going to let them pass, but where are we going to allow them to have the ball? And they've allowed them further back in their defensive half where it really isn't going to hurt and it's not penetrating through the midfield.
Formella. Ball pushed ahead, Palais. That is a foul. It is outside the penalty area. It is a yellow card. And for Learman, that's probably worth it. First yellow for Giannis Learman this year.
And the timing of this lucky for Learman right outside the penalty area. It's just a little bit too much body there. Had some position, but the run of Palais is really good going across the front shoulder.
The wall is 5. Clementa with the right foot of Thor. Some Fecca into the wall. For something a little cultured there. Donaciano sent it forward. Just got away from Tamakis.
It's almost one of those moments where you don't realize how wide open you are because he shouldn't have been that wide open in the penalty area. Had a lot more time than he realized.
Those reserves are always a little interesting, aren't they?
They are, because you're trying to step the back line. You want to get everyone out, but it's very hard to step the back line and also be player marking, and that's where some of those gaps are available.
Alcohol sales is at the 75th minute. Last call at the 75th minute.
Wonder what Ryan Martin was discussing with the fourth there. Through Palais, tied up again with Learman, and Learman zigzagging his way. Wow. That's some bravery.
Definite confidence right there, and then Landry's like, no thank you.
Yeah.
Let's get this out of here.
Came off of Armenakis as Masoso got swarmed. Couple options flying. It's a little bit behind. Tamakis is gesturing that should be with Oakland. Loudoun appeared to pull up on that thing. They'd have their chance. Delgado and the staff for Oakland thinking about their next plan here.
We talked about this earlier. You always want the ball, right? So they're like, it's my ball until the referee motions a different way.
That's a trio of players down.
That's either for us or a 50-50.
That's for them. Feka's certainly one of the most gifted players in this league, and he's had his hard hat on for this game for sure. Diaz brought that down really nicely. The return to Diaz, who's inverted, springs it to the opposite end to Makis. Feka kept it alive, turning Pillais, and pushed out of play. And Pillais saying, how could that possibly not be a penalty?
Wow. Feka does so well there on the inline. He's just been so quick and dynamic in the final third for Oakland Roots. This ball just deflected in behind, trying to figure out, is Ferreau going to come? And he gets right in the middle of it. Take a look at this. And just coming from behind was Landry. I think that could be very much a penalty.
And there's a foot sticking out toward him as well.
Well, the initial player was beat, and the hovering player is coming from a position that's behind where Pillais is. So I'm surprised the penalty is not called there.
Yep. And you can understand Pillais' frustration at this stage.
How much time we got left?
Ball flung through Pillais. Got his head to it.
This time in the game, a goal like that, if they could get a penalty opportunity, completely changes the game on its head. So there's going to be some frustration that comes from that.
Yeah. Looking at potential changes, that could be Abdul Zane to enter here for Loudoun in a moment's time. Now, Oakland is going to walk away truly frustrated if this is how it ends. That's a tug from Ryan. Jeremy Garay and Abdul Zane may be the next on here. Loudoun's already used one sub, one window at this stage for the injured Wesley Leggett. Swerving in behind Pillais. That's going to be a corner here for Oakland. There's a world of time left in this one, Casey. So all this frustration from Oakland can turn into some really great fireworks for them in short time if they can get one.
Loudoun did it in the first half. Didn't have much possession, had the one set piece, earned the penalty, and it completely changed the game. There's a lot of time left to take advantage of these set pieces.
That's 3 Roots subs set to enter here in a moment. It's going to be a very busy next substitution window. Corner for Oakland. Caught by Ferreau. Oh, feign there by Ferreau may have drawn some attention. Oakland dropping back into position. Ryan. Ramirez. "20 minutes to play in Leesburg. Loudoun went ahead on the penalty from Zach Ryan. They doubled their money. Panos Armanakis is first for Loudoun United.
Fans, for your chance to receive autographs from players tonight and to participate in our
Here come the changes. There's Reed, there's Hackshaw, that's Masoso first ooff the field. Substitutions brought to you by Segra. That's it for Clementa, so you would think with Hackshaw coming in, they could either use him as the third in the back 3, or they could move him into holding midfield. Reed replaces Mfeka. That's Garay and Zane. Mentioned a moment ago for Loudoun. That's it for Ramirez. That's a like for like with Garay. And El Medkar coming off as well. And you were talking up El Medcar literally from the first time we saw the lineup in this broadcast.
He's a player that can be so good on the ball in midfield. He's very clean, but also today he's really made a lot of those runs in behind the center backs in the diagonal wide areas, and that's what led to that second goal, was his ability to spring himself into the attack.
Substitutions are brought to you by Segra. Ryan able to break it free. Zach Ryan turned away by Blanchette. And Oakland still has a pulse. Taken back by Jeremy Garay.
Substitutions in the 72nd minute. Exiting the match, number 17, Juan Ramirez, and number 23, Khalil Almenkar. Entering the match, number 7, Abdul Zaneh, and number 11, Jeremy Garay. All substitutions are brought to you.
Something that Loudoun's done really well is a lot of opportunities have come from that defensive shape and how they defend and when they pick moments to press. And to be fair, Blanchette does a really good job of just cutting down the angle on that one from Ryan.
I mean, that's 3 truly big saves in this game now by Blanchette. Fresh into the game, Reed. A muscled tackle from Learman. Yeah, you can see Hackshaw sort of sitting above that back line. Nane centrally as well for Oakland. Nane playing a little higher. You know, you hear about the idea of versatility, but when you hear Noah Delgado talk about it, it's multiple lines, multiple positions within a line. Talked about Hackshaw, talked about Masoso, and that creates a lot of differing skill sets out of different positions at different times for a team like Oakland.
And it's not only that versatility individually, but when you have that, you can have versatility in the way they play, their system, how they want to set up, what spaces do they want to take advantage of attacking-wise or shut down defensively. And in a game like this where you're searching for a goal, are they trying to find maybe some different spaces to throw Loudoun off a little bit, just try to get that goal and get back in the game?
They have so many clubs in their bag. Rocha got cleaned out late.
This is that last challenge right here, just coming in, clears it out. Just get clipped a little bit on the left ankle by Reed.
Well, the ref initially gestured the ball, but it was Reed that entered in late. So Trayvon Reed put in the book here. That's the 4th yellow acquired by the Roots today. Acquired as if they're going to take him home on the plane. Las Vegas, by the way, has scored. That game also in the 74th minute. Lucas Stauffer from Preston. Tabor Itaka. 4-1 Miami. Yellow card somewhere on the bench. That's a 5th acquisition of a yellow card.
There's definitely some frustration here because there has been a lot of possession to the Oakland Roots. The performance and how they move the ball, especially in the first half, it's been a little more disrupted in the second half, has been good, but the inability to get behind the line has been tough for them.
Rolled out here to Morad. He's joined some exclusive company in the league just 7 years ago, crossed the 15,000-minute plateau in the USL Championship. Oklahoma City, 3 years in Louisville, 2 years in Tampa Bay, on to San Diego, and now here in Oakland. Turning the corner. Referee had a look again. Apparently that's the turf monster that brought down Reed. Nane rolls back. There's Murad. By the way, we're told it was Ethan Kohler, the 18-year-old Californian, that was shown the yellow card on the bench. One of the rare instances of a player not getting into the game but ending up in the book.
Right.
His agent, former U.S. national teamer Corey Gibbs. I don't know if he's celebrating that or not, but his client does feature in some capacity on the day.
Take a look at this last opportunity here. Reed just protecting the ball and drawing the foul there. And it's really smart by him because they're not creating a lot going forward. So just getting into that area, knowing you're not going to be able to penetrate, but still able to draw the foul is good for them and creates this big opportunity for Oakland.
Can Diaz finally break the padlock here? Diaz floating, keeper came out. Nane collides for the ball. Armanakis couldn't take it, but now the sprint out. Samake across the halfway line. It's a heavy touch back. Naciano, second attempt at it to Makis.
Where's that one? Thank you. Go, Loudoun!
Kevin Wright alongside the Oakland manager. A third here for Loudoun could really put this thing away. That was part of the conversation around that Birmingham game. They got two. That third really essentially ended it. Oh, this is off the training ground. Armanakis! Blanchette.
Well, that was an interesting potential combination of the first goal and the second goal. It was the same area where the service was from, where they got the penalty kick. Then this bending ball from the left foot of Armanakis. But Blanchette's like, no, I've seen this. I've seen this before. Slides across and gets a good save.
That's really clever because Ryan is the one who ends up taking that set piece. This turf field has shown the pretty consistently a unique bounce to it.
It does.
So you have to try and roll that delicately. You also have to give enough to Armanakis to be able to put something on frame. Armanakis seeking Ryan, unable to repay the favor. So Diaz is going to come off, and Kevin Wright's going to enter. Lest we forget, if you're Oakland, you've got that enormous Open Cup game against Sacramento on Wednesday night. You've got a tough travel day back.
Oakland Roots substitution in the 80th minute.
You would hope they've got the red eye out of DC.
You would hope so. And it's just an interesting balance because obviously as a competitor, you want to try to get back into this game. But as a manager, you have to think, how do we use our substitutions? Because it's a long season, right? And we have those quick games coming, especially a rivalry game like against a Sacramento Republic.
Yeah, I was chatting with some of the PR staff with Oakland in the lead up to this game, and it's that discussion of, well, Oakland and Sacramento, maybe it's hour 15, you know, to get there without traffic. And it's therein lies the rub. It's going to take Oakland about 3 hours on the bus to get to Heart Health Park, which ironically is not good for heart health. But once they do arrive, if they end up coming away with a win, they'll levitate home in about an hour and 15. Gliding toward the corner flag as the sun starts to show its face. That wound by Hackshaw, but Barbier was there to step forward. Armanakis with winged feet. Kept Tipped in by Rocha. Zoidberg pops out of the stands again, and all the while the referee has popped the whistle out once more.
And Loudoun's done a really good job just being really patient defensively, and then when they get in that attacking third, they're drawing these fouls. It just takes the air out of the game because Oakland's really having to push. So it's been a really just professional performance the last 10 or 15 minutes after they got the second goal.
That falls to Armanakis with good control. He's got a great goal in his arsenal already today. Armanakis right into the waiting hands of Blanchette. Recovered, there's Reed. Denaciano going through Nane. All right. You know, Armanakis looking so slick, and Landry fell over trying to repeat.
That was close.
That
was great feet.
Like you can see it, right, with Armanakis, that technically he's got some gifts that a lot of people just don't possess.
Definitely, and the way Loudoun plays where he's that inverted winger, he can come inside, and it's very hard to predict how he's going to play. It helps when you get that goal under your belt. You can tell he's gotten a little more flair even as the game has gone on.
You would think Ryan Martin in film this week is going to go do that.
Yes. Hey, just rinse, repeat.
His first goal for the club, had an assist in the first 5 games of the league season as well.
Come on, Loudoun.
Reed. Ooh. Collision. That's a lack of communication between Washington and Farrow.
Bring it up, Loudoun. Go.
That's a handball.
And we haven't really seen any tactical change from Oakland Roots, just trying to get more numbers up. You'd think maybe the outside mids would get a little bit higher to join, create a 2v1. We'll take just a look back at this right here. Just got a little bit of a knock and then the handball there on the sideline from Armanakis.
Five minutes to play for Oakland to try and take something from the game, or Loudoun is going to spring into a home playoff spot at this early point in the season. With the majority of teams reaching past 20% of the campaign played here this weekend, Loudoun will have a game in hand on most. Working in on Samake. Neville Hackshaw. Reed. First touch, and Rocha glides in and recovers it for Loudoun. Hackshaw turning for Mella. Away from Pelais. Back to Hackshaw. Venaciano. Hackshaw. Touched inward, deflected off. Belongs to Loudoun United. Armanakis through the center circle. Options either side. Forward from Ryan. And across from Williamson! Kick save and a beauty from Blanchett.
My goodness, and that comes from all that defensive effort, and then there's so much space to take advantage there in the counterattack.
Williamson still has his hands on his face and his head. He can't believe it. Oakland will bring on Drew Murray, an MLS Next All-Star in the San Jose Academy last year. He is a center back entering here late. Replaces Tamakis. Sub brought to you by Segra.
Oakland route substitution in the 88th minute. Exiting the match, number 30, Brian Tamakis. Entering the match, number 99, Drew Murray.
Murray's first game. Kept away from Williamson. 2 games in Next Pro last year for Murray. This is his first game in the championship. Did feature play 75 minutes in the Open Cup for Oakland Roots. Crafted across for Pelais. Corner. Gotta have it here for Oakland if you're gonna take something from this game. You kind of feel for Pelais. He hasn't been that far off from putting himself in position to score today.
He's been extremely active, and that potential penalty that wasn't called, that could have been a big game changer that he could have drawn.
Sort of the story for him now. The number 9 opponents will hate to play against is one quote I've got. He's now past 300 minutes without a goal contribution since entering. Hangs in the air. Washington. Nane. Venaciano. That's a throw, not a corner. Loudoun was begging to not make this change. You could hear the stoppage had already occurred.
You're saying no sub.
All right, they'll play on. Chico will wait. That may be to Loudoun's benefit. Threaded ball through. Flag is down. Driving in. Oh, goodness, Blanchett again. And that sign just got pulverized by Williamson. That's coming out of the game check.
And you could see Williamson was looking across for Armanakis, but just couldn't quite get up there with him, decides to go himself, and a lot of frustration after those 2 missed opportunities.
Murray just went in, pushed a player from behind after he had already, the ref is not having this right now. Murray got pushed, and then he retaliated from behind to try and get the ball back. And Murray's picked up his first championship yellow card.
It's just taking a look back at this, just a retaliation after on Zane. Murray definitely getting the yellow card on that one after just responding after the initial foul.
So Murray is booked. That's Chica for Ryan.
Exiting the match, number 10, Panos Armanakis.
That is both goal scorers coming off, Ryan and Armanakis. The celebration here for Loudoun has begun with 3 minutes to go. Chica, the center back, and Kawanda, the midfielder from the Ivory Coast.
All substitutions are brought to you by
Subs
Segra.
brought to you by Segra. See what kind of leg Blanchette has. Spoiler alert, a good one.
And a yellow card was issued in the 90th minute to Oakland Roots SC's number 99, Drew Murray.
Falls here, touched away by Washington. That's emergency defending on Palais.
He just didn't step very quick there, but the recovery was really good just to make sure Palais didn't have a clear opportunity.
Recovered by Hackshaw. Well, if you're Loudoun, they're never going to say it, but Flower City of Rochester is, all things considered, a really good draw in the Open Cup in the round where MLS jumps in. So Loudoun will play Wednesday against them, and that'll be here at home. Ball through, settled, right. Right again. Donaciano off of Chica.
It was good patient 1v1 defending there in the penalty area because you want to be able to go and tackle, but they did really well just to hold up, especially when Chica came and defended there.
By the way, they've announced a Zane yellow card, that previous skirmish with Murray. Ball clipped across. Header down from Murray.
Watch the camera.
Reed. Palais fighting to win it back. The NBA, they call that continuation. Kawanda won the free kick. If you're Oakland, you've got nothing to hang your head about with this performance either. A couple of times he got disconnected, a couple of times he gave the ball away. Second half, stronger performance. There's a decent chance they could make life very difficult for Sacramento. Williamson skitters across, and there's Blanchette.
I think you're right on that. There's definitely been some breakdowns. The performance overall has been good, but really also just when Loudoun has had opportunities, they've put them in. Well, on the other side, when Oakland's created some, they just haven't been as clinical in front of goal.
Hackshaw, Murad, Murray. That skimmed to the wrong side of Nane. We've gone the 4 minutes, but we've had some substitutions, some brouhaha. Murray touches that out. And it'll be academic from here. Oakland trying to create something here at the end. Deflects down. Stripped away from right. Barbier. And that is the first 3-match winning streak in Loudoun United history. The Open Cup against North Carolina, now back-to-back shutout wins in the championship against Birmingham and Oakland.
And that's big time. Not only wins, but shutout wins. Obviously doing a great job on the defensive side as well and making it really hard for teams to score on them, even though they may keep some of the possession, and then finding opportunities for themselves as well.
Well, this is hardly Loudoun's first rodeo, but it does feel a little different right now. Armanakis gets his first for Loudoun United in the championship. shaking his fist with excitement, going to the fans and really enjoying this moment. And this is not your grandfather's Loudoun United anymore. How about we take a look at today's save of the game? It's brought to you by Segra. Blanchette had a number of saves that would have been deserving, but this is the only save that really mattered for Loudoun.
It was the most clear opportunity coming in the first half. Tamakis going to the back post, but a great save from Farrow.
So Farrow able to make a critical save when it was still scoreless. And Loudoun will take on Flower City on Wednesday with all this wind in their sails. A third straight Loudoun win. The final score is presented by Segra, and the postgame is coming up.
Business today is fast, unpredictable, always changing. Shifting trends and technologies are pushing aside old rules. The unexpected is the new normal. Segra is here to help you get what's next with our best-in-class connectivity, cybersecurity, cloud, and collaboration solutions. Whatever your business dreams, we have the network and services to get you there. Segra, giving your business the freedom to grow today. Segra is a proud sponsor of the Loudoun United Football Club.
Can we come back to 3? Welcome back to Loudoun County. Loudoun 2, Oakland 0. Just a moment ago, 2 El Salvador teammates at Jersey Exchange, Garay alongside Tamakis. Loudoun wins this one 2-0. And there they are. That'll bring a smile to Hugo Perez's face. How about we take a look at the full-time highlights in this one, show you all the action. And Loudoun able to grab a goal in the 30th minute, but not until Oakland had started to put a little pressure on. Loudoun was able to turn the tide a little bit, especially off mistakes in that either back line or midfield of the Roots.
That's really what we saw in the first half, like that opportunity there with Leggett and Ryan getting this chance off the right foot. It was really against the run of play a lot of times in the first half. A lot of that defensive pressure. Landry stepping in on this opportunity in the first half as well, and a great save from Blanchette to make sure against the run of play there's no goal.
So the turnover forced by Landry and Leggett denied. Couple of big saves from Blanchette early to keep this thing knotted up. But in the 30th minute, high boot from Morad. Leggett goes down, wins the penalty. Ryan will do the rest.
And Loudoun really made this out of nothing, but Ryan steps up just with authority. A great finish to the left side, and it's a great goal there to put them up 1-0. He's a big-time player in a big moment.
And so in just 5 games, all competitions, he has 6 goals. Skip ahead here, Loudoun trying to find the second. Elmedkar, maybe ball stuck to his foot too long, but Armanakis, right place, right time.
I absolutely love this goal. The whole thing about the build-up, but that finish is just great. The players were dropping in defensively too much. Armanakis is able to get this Elmedkar shot, collects it, takes a quick little look, and just bends it around. What a great goal.
His first for Loudoun United in the league. Curls this by Blanchette, who had otherwise been tremendous in the run of play. And the celebration is on. Loudoun have won 3 in a row, all competitions for the first time ever, and it's just the second time ever they've had back-to-back shutouts.
It's a great performance from them. When you're at home, too, especially withstanding that pressure early on, that's so important. You want to get the 3 points as often as you can in front of your home fans where you feel the most comfortable and you feel that you can play your style of play and get a result.
Well, this is a long time coming for Ryan Martin. This is a team that won just 5 games in 2020 and 2021 combined against 34 losses. It's a little different this year. There's a little maybe fairy dust in the air. Loudoun, a 2-0 win. The post game has been presented by Segra. Goals from 2 of the big guys, Ryan and Armanakis. These teams look forward to the Open Cup this week with a lot on the line. Loudoun advanced to 4th in the East. For Casey White, our entire team, Mike Watts saying thanks for watching and so long for now.
This copyrighted telecast of the United Soccer League Championship cannot be retransmitted, rebroadcast, or reproduced without the expressed written consent of the United Soccer League Championship.